Hi, this is Ashley with Salt and Light again. So I'm coming to talk to you really quick about your children. So we had a quick conversation, me and my bestie and my husband, actually, different conversations, but the same topic. And we were talking about how, back in the day, we used to say things like, my child is not my friend, I'm the parent, they're the child, whatever. But with growth and as children get older, we have come to the understanding that, you know what, I actually one day want to be my child's friend. Okay, I do. So, our video today is coming from that thought and that idea. So it is a time where you are the enforcer, you are the rule giver, you are the person who makes sure the rules are being followed, and you can't play with that, or else you're not going to raise children that's going to be um, able to be successful in this society. Okay, so you have to be firm and you have to be a parent when it's time to be a parent. But there is going to come a time where you're just going to want to be your child's friend. You're just going to want to get a phone call and be like, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on in your life? Hey, you want to have lunch together? Hey, come, let's go get our nails done together. Let's go play a game of basketball together." Those days are going to come. And if you don't watch how you treat your child now, when those days come, they're going to run from you. They're not going to want anything to do with you. So, with that said, my sister is like very, very good at dealing with children. She is like, that's just her gift, her calling. She could see a kid falling out of Walmart and she's going to come over to them and she's going to talk soft but firm because she don't play. And she's going to calm them down and she's going to help that parent and get that parent a tip. And that parent going to leave happy and the child is going to be in a place where they're calm, but they know that they better not do that again. Like it's phenomenal. So anyway, she's a teacher and she's been teaching for a long time, but she has raised my nieces to the point where I have seen them be children and act like children. I have seen them grow into mature little young adults. Like they have grown through all those phases, and I just think that she's done a really good job of being a parent when she needs to be, but being a friend when she needs to be a friend. And she transitions so smoothly through that. And so I've asked her to share with us ladies and men, if you're out there watching, I've asked her to share her tips. She goes into um, the learning needs of your child at different ages. She goes into all of these different phases. Please, please, please grab a notebook, grab a piece of paper, and jot this down. Save this video, like and subscribe because you're going to want to come back to this throughout your child's stages of life. Remember, this is our Salt and Light Women's Ministry, and remember, we're trying to build you up in all areas of your life. And so this is focused on relationships. And if you build a firm foundation in relationship with your children now, you will appreciate that when they are older. They won't be running from you. You'll have that relationship where y'all can talk and communicate and they feel respected, but they respect you. So enjoy.
Good evening. Welcome to Salt and Light Ministries. In this section, I'm going to be focusing on relationship. For the month of April, I was asked to talk about parenting. I'm going to talk to you about parenting with an expected outcome. First, I would like to introduce you to my family. I am the mother of 4 girls. I have a daughter named Samantha who's 27. She has 3 children. She has Dawson, who is 7, Madison, who is 2, Mason, who is 3. I have a 23-year-old named Linda. She has a 2-year-old daughter named Millie. I have a 22-year-old daughter who is at USC. Her name is Denise. I have a 15-year-old daughter who is in high school. Her name is Tiffany and she plays volleyball. In this section, I wanted you to just think about something. Would you climb out on the sledge without understanding how things operate? Well, I wouldn't. I would want to know first what is going to keep me from falling, what is going to keep me safe. Where does it start and where does it end? And most importantly, what is the weight limit? These are just some tools that I would want to know how they function and operate before I begin. Parenting is just like that. You need some tools. You need to know how they operate before you can really jump in there and dig in. One of the most important tools I use is a prayer and a relationship with God, a constant prayer and a relationship with God. Some of the scriptures that help me the most are the most common. Everybody loves this one and knows this one. Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way they would go, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Train. Train is an action word. It's also something you have to physically do. When I am training for something, I need to put in some effort. I have to try different things. I have to really hone in on the best thing to do to get the best outcome. Okay. If I'm training for a marathon, I need to know what target exercises I need to do to get the best outcome. So, this is a very important scripture, but we don't like to think about the work that goes into train. The next scripture I like is Proverbs 22:17. It says, "Incline your ear and hear the words of the wise." Think about the wise. The wise is usually referred to the elderly people, people that are older that have the knowledge. So it says incline your ear. That's again another action word. That means I have to put effort to listen at what they're saying. I have to find some way to apply it. Does that mean I have to do everything that they say? No, it just means I have to be willing to listen and hear. Then it says apply. Apply is again another action word. I have to do it. Apply your heart to my knowledge, the knowledge of God, his words. His relationship will lead you and guide you to what you need to do. Another scripture from Proverbs is Proverbs 29:15. It says, "The rod and the reproof gives wisdom." The rod represents discipline. It tells me that I have to set some expectations and some consequences that come with that. So here's the expectations, here's the consequence. A lot of times we think of the rod as beating the child. Sometimes it does require a spanking, but it's really referring to the act of discipline, giving them an expectations, and this is the consequence if you break this expectations. Reproof. It is a sign, a true sign of disappointment. Okay. You show them that you are not pleased with their action. Okay. It says this gives them wisdom. Don't let a child raise themselves, because when you leave them to themselves, that chapter there, you need to read more of that chapter. If you ever could just really break apart Proverbs, it is such a beneficial book for me as a woman of God. All right. Another tool that I use is understanding their development. There are many theories out there, but I like the Montessori method. In the Montessori method, they break these planes up and tell you how to focus. And it lets me know what they should be learning and what they should be doing at those different planes in their life. Another one is sensitive periods in their lives. When should I introduce things? When should I not let them do things? These are really important time periods, and I want to know um, so that I am able to set them up or protect them from not being overstimulated by something they're not ready for. In these planes, the first plane is infancy. Infancy is from the years of 0 to 6 years. In this time period, they're developing their and um, physical changes. They're absorbing everything they're going through. This is the greatest period of growth for them in their entire life. They grow more in that 6 years than they do any other time. This is the absorbent period where they absorb everything through all of their senses. They are also wanting you to help them do things. They don't want you to do it for them. They really want you to help them. This is also the what period. They're going to ask you a lot of questions. Questions like what, um, what does this do? Where does this go? They're going to ask you a lot of those questions. Be ready and willing to answer those questions with patience and kindness. Um, this is also the period for a lot of developmental periods. So make sure you are providing those exposure to different types of things, not just what you like. Expose them to things that they may not have. Um, it will be things they have not seen or heard before. Different types of musics from different cultures and foods. Different toys of different from different cultures, making sure you're exposing them to whatever it is that they need to follow them. Also, I wanted to give you a few examples in this section. I asked my children to tell me what they remember seeing as they were growing up. They tell me some positives and negatives. But in this period, my daughter Tiffany, she was little, and I'm real big on saying how we should you should model the behavior you want, right? And I said this is the absorbing period. They're soaking all this stuff up. Well, I was in church just carrying her like I always do, and I'm in praise and worship, and I have my eyes closed, and then they look over, she's waving her arms in praise and worship. So understand that they're absorbing, they're seeing what you're doing, so model the behavior you expect. The next period is childhood. This is from the ages of 6 to 12 years old. In this period, they're going to be working on um, the reasoning part, the understanding how things work and connecting um, the why. Okay. So they're also going to be asking you to help them think. So they're not asking you to give your opinion, they want you to help them think and talk things out. So they're going to ask you a lot of questions, and you should ask them what do they think. Give them a lot of details, okay? Also, some examples in this area was um, the what and the how. I remember the children, one of my daughters, riding down the street, and they would constantly ask, "How do you spell this word? How do you spell this word?" It would get so frustrating and aggravating, but I would just constantly spell the word and keep going. Get them involved in things. Um, for my children, I exposed them a lot of stuff, and I was like, okay, we're just going to try this, try all these different things, like put them in swimming classes. I put them in ballet and dance and steel drums and African dance. I put them in a lot of different things, and told them they had to try it for a season. And if they didn't like it, then they have to do it again. But exposing them to things to try and do for they can develop their own interests and likes. I will also give them summer activity and summer homeworks. Develop at this period the importance of school. School is in the priority, and my daughter reminded me of this when they were in elementary school. I would pull up and say, "Have a good day. You're not here to make friends. Go learn something new today." I know that sounds so mean, but I wanted to instill at an early age that you're not here to come socialize, and you're here to come get an education. You can socialize after school during the appropriate time, but establishing that foundation that education's important. This is the period that you want to do that. You want to make it their focus. Um, so we did different things like taking trips to the public library, going to the zoo, the museum, going to try different places like that, different activities like that. In the summer, take a nature walk. We did all kinds of stuff like that. Asking them, what did they see? What did they hear? What did they smell? Doing these things with them seems so strange to say it now, but to them it was normal. It was common because we just did it all the time. The next period we want to talk about is adolescence, ages 12 through 18. This is a very important period. They're working and learning their social and emotional independence. In this section, they're concerned with other people and what is right and what is fair, and they want to know the value of things. And also, when it comes to conversations and their thinking, this is the time where you can start telling them the difference between emotions and reality. Just explaining to them that sometimes you may be feeling a certain way. That doesn't mean that's how things are. We as adults still struggle with that because nobody really taught that to us. But understanding that there, that is the time where we start helping them think and say, how can I help you think? Doing those conversations and saying, now, what made you feel that way? What made you think that way? And these are some emotionally draining conversations. But by doing that, you're developing a healthy adult. Because again, we're talking about an expected outcome. And I must go on and say that in every conversation that I have with my children, um, I have always brought God in it. Okay, what does the Bible say? What do you think? Because her grandparents are pastor and first lady. What would you think your grandpa would say? How would you think your grandma would act? Having those conversations with them. So in that time period, helping them to see how they should respond with their feelings and emotions. This is also a period where they are focusing on a new world. They're changing from being just their family, just their friends, to developing this whole new world with people they have never seen before. High school, exposure to different types of people and different types of societies and groups. Some examples of this was I started holding my children accountable during this time. If there was an issue with a grade, I would say, okay, email your teacher. And or there's a issue where she didn't understand an assignment, so you email the teacher. I said, if you don't get a response, then let me take care of it. If there was an issue with someone else, talking to them, okay, this is what you need to say, this is what you need to do. Giving them those sound advice of how to respond to adult conversations and things because they're approaching that area. You want to prepare them for that. Also, we push them to try new clubs at school. Get out there and try different things, meet new people. This is the time to experiment in a control setting. You still have control over them because they're still in your home. But this also is a period where you may have to fight with them. You cannot let them um, have their own, I don't want to say own way, because you do want to let them explore their own way, but you want to make sure you are giving them some leeway to try things, but they are meeting your household expectations. So, like if one of them wants to make a very poor decision, you have to let them know, oh, you will not do this. You will meet our expectations. You will abide to the rules in this house. Just because teenage years is a challenging years, especially with 4 girls. Finally, we are reaching the section of 18 to 24. This is a very special year. Very special years. In this time period, it is where they're developing their maturity. They are making up their own minds of what they think and what they feel. Now they are wanting to know, they're not wanting information from you. So now you have to approach things with, how can I help you? My response have to change. It can't be no more me teaching. Um, it's no more me supervising. It's no more me guiding. It is now me listening. How can I help you? It is a period of where um, they may forget you. They may move on to new ventures, but know that they will come back. Allow them to go out there and try things. Allow them to mess up, make mistakes. And these examples that I'm giving are some examples that came from my children. She said that I allowed her to mess up and make mistakes and was willing to listen when she did. Um, she also said I kept the standards. I reminded her that the standard was still there and there's an expectation that should happen. And if she chose to do something else, that no longer was I going to be the enforcer, that God was going to be their enforcer. And so just reminding them that the the roles are changing. I'm not that person anymore. But by doing this, I then can become their friend. I can just give advice and keep moving. I'm not um, there to oversee their decisions and be the enforcer. Because the reality is, I've just spent 18 to 24 years raising a kid. I didn't do that because I like the torture. The reality is, I did it for an expected outcome. I want them to grow up to be Christians. I want them to give their life to Christ. And that has to be something that's done by God. Only God knows. So I can only model the behavior that I need them to to do. And that means having prayer and Bible study with them. When they got old enough, I gave them a devotion and we worked on a devotion together. Um, Having that behavior and relationship with them, because in the end, when they're adults, I want to be their friend. I want to be able to have that time with them and know that they're going to be all right. So something to ponder on while they're still in your house and you still can have an effect on their outcome is get to know your child, observe them, look at their strengths and weaknesses and what is going on with them, okay? Also be a good role model. Watch and say what you want them to do. Know that they're always watching. Be familiar with their developmental phases, the sensitive periods, and the absorbent mind. Also, make sure your house is in order. Make sure things are together. Finally, look for ways that you can support them. But most importantly, let God be present and visible in your home and in your day to day lives. Thank you and have a good one.
Yes, yes, yes. All the things, all the things. I'm so, so happy. Okay, I hope you got some great notes. I hope you jotted some things down. I don't know what stage your child is, but I hope you really honed into that stage. And I hope you have a strategy. What's your strategy? What is it that you're going to do and take away from this thing? I hope that this changes your relationship with your children. Okay. We love you. God bless and be the salt and the light of the earth.